I used to delay to pay tuition. Sometimes we went another semester, lobbying to allow the administration help you sit for exams. And right now, this parent, you are now giving me an ultimatum. If you don't report on 14th, as who? Because you call shots when you have met my demands. A sugar daddy calling a woman to come or a girlfriend to come to his house. He calls shots after he has sent money. You have given me no money. Right now, no, it's too much. Tell me if I speak facts that happened before him, then you stop us. Please, he knows my name. I contacted him and I was there. On that day, he was given a letter by Dr. Shego. He gave him a letter. In fact, Dr. Shego read that letter that had demands. It is so ashamed that he's here on this platform saying he has never received a letter. So what did we give him? And one of our colleagues told him, Honorable Minister, you're not noting down these things that we are giving you. And he said, no, I know these things and really have understood them. And it is quite ashaming that the same person is asking us to tell him our demands. Whatever, surprisingly, he cannot forget the 14th, but the demands, he forgot all of them. Thank God, Uma has sent him all these things again. Let me tell you, the government will call shots if at all it meets the demands medical interns need to reach to wherever they have thrown them and even stay there. My parent, as of now, has not even yet paid rent where we are staying. Government is telling me, ma'am, forego that, sleep outside so that I go on 14th. What should I do? Where is patriotism in this? Where is patriotism? You told us to go study sciences. We have studied sciences. Here we are. Let me tell you, the emergency unit of Mbara Hospital, where I found 2 medical interns saving lives, their janitors who are cleaning, those janitors are being paid. You mean to tell me that cleaning is worth more better than the person there saving a life, that for that one it has to be free? There are students who were catered for by the loan scheme alone to meet that money is talking of at KIU 7 million and 5. They have loans to pay now. In other words, they are broke. Now, they should actually run to government again because government is the one who sponsored them at that time. Where do you put those ones? In other words, how can you even say I'm government sponsored, I'm private sponsored? That was an agreement or a contract I made for the 5 years of study, and we are past that. There is no new agreement I have made with the government. In other words, have they put up another application for interns to apply, whether to be government or private? Why should people keep? And he has said it properly that the policy was made because of numbers. Yet when you read the preamble of that policy, they give you the background as to why the policy was made. The issue of numbers is not there. Why are we lying each other? Why are we lying each other? Where is the nobility or whatever of medicine? Why do you want to see a doctor being pulled clinical quotes by a police officer? How ashaming is that? Over the international news, Al Jazeera, BBC, name it. A doctor, medical doctor, 5 years of study. And you start threatening me if you don't report on 14th. If you don't report here, people are giving me phone calls from my site threatening me. Why don't they first send something on my mobile money and threaten better? Send me 1 million, send me 500. Send us all that money. You, the site people, threatening us. We cannot make an agreement with you, the site people. We cannot. But we are engaging people who you subscribe to and you're forcing us. I mean, if you understand how important we are, you shouldn't actually force us. You should just join us. And I thank Uma that this has come into play. The minister is saying a lot of lies. Anyway, they say politicians should not be trusted. He's holding a political office. He has received.
Rutaya, are you still here?
Yes, I have submitted my points. And lastly, I will again answer your question that you gave me at the beginning, that I'm not reporting for several matters. Come tomorrow. Thank you. They let them amend that deadline. Those things are amendable. They are not written on rocks. Deadlines are amended every time. You first answer our concerns and then come with these strict mandates, strict deadlines for us to meet. But don't do that if at all there's nothing coming out of your pockets. Please don't. Just don't. We are empathetic.
Thank you.
Be empathetic as well.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lutaya. Quite, when you listen to the story of where he comes from and the pain he speaks with, I think it paints something to so many of the intern doctors out there that are being deployed this time around. But how do we address this standoff as doctors that are deployed to the facilities to hope that Ugandan also out there? Think of a mother that has reported with a sick child. They had nowhere to run to, and where they ran to, there is no support. What do we do in that case? Dr. Obuku, you were a president for the Uganda Medical Association. You had engagements with government, but you're also a colleague to the minister. You said they've tried to reach him out and he hadn't responded, where we have different sentiments. Dr. Balyomunsi is one of those ministers that is available. Maybe in one way or the other, things did not go right, but since he gave time to everyone, maybe they can see him tomorrow. Dr. Okwaru, how do we go out of the conundrum we are in? We have a deadline for tomorrow. People are supposed to report to their sites. You've had those that have come here. They're saying they're not reporting. If they do not report, who's going to take care of that ordinary Ugandan out there that is looking for health service? Thank you. Dr. Obuku? Did we lose you? Okay. Alan, you're the Secretary General for the Federation of Medical Interns. You people are not reporting to your sites. Now, who's responsible or who's going to take care of that ordinary Ugandan out there that is looking for a service? Did I lose the two people? Alan, are you still with us? Or Dr. Buku, are you still with us? Otika, you've been really asking to speak to us. Are you a medical intern, first of all, or you're practicing?
Yes, thank you so much, the host, for giving me at least an opportunity to say one or two things. I'm not a medical intern. I just completed recently. I have a few submissions to make to I Baryomunsi throughout this call, not as honorable minister. First of all, I really admire the disconnectedness, with respect, that he has with the system and with reality. Because first of all, I don't mean to water down what has already been said, but for him to speak, to stand and say he has statistics, a study was made, mortality levels increased. I happen to be someone who is so interested in research, and I really know that. And also rate evidence in research. We want to use it. We want to utilize it. Now, this is a very critical evidence which touches mortality. That if the honorable minister has evidence of something that was studied and it is touching mortality, lives of people, I think this is something that he has to take serious. And these are findings that he has to interest himself in utilizing. So if he's to utilize these findings, one, I think it is important within it is a source of death in hospitals. Interns are causing death in his ministry. He should do away with it, because I mean, if the country is better off, people are not dying less without interns, then he should actually do that. Secondly, I don't know. It disturbs me whether the honorable minister is happy with this policy in his heart. As a doctor, as someone who did internship, as someone who has hustled here and there before going to wherever he is, I don't know whether it's okay for him in his heart, if he's happy with it. And then secondly, we have had a rally of ministers moving, arresting health workers, extortion here and there. I do not know how Baryomunsi will stand, face an intern whom he has denied payment and has extorted a poor woman 10,000 shillings because he was about to sleep hungry. I mean, I'm taking you to theater to perform a Caesar on you, but I say, I'm hungry. Do you have 10,000? Give it to me. So I don't know how Baryomunsi will face that intern. Did you do this? I know he's not here, but I actually wish he was here to answer some of these things. And then it also disturbs me. One year ago, they came up with this thing that medical doctors or whatever who go back to school and they're already being paid by government shouldn't be paid. And actually, a whole lot of interns had that kind of group, for which I'm one of them, and they were not paid allowances for 1 year, citing it as double pay. Himself, he's an MP and he's a minister, and I'm 100% sure he's paid for both. And I'm 100% sure he has thousands of allowances. I don't know whether he's happy to also scrap off some of these allowances, because we have to be patriotic. I don't know if he's happy to scrap off some of these allowances. I also would really love, my submission is majorly questions. If Baryomunsi would tell us one hospital in Uganda, one
Okay,
like this, because he mentioned, yes,
I would really request that the subject matter and don't go personal.
I am
If
not
you
going personal, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I went personal. The last two things,
Okay, to everyone that is here, I would request that we remain respectful to everyone that speaks or that gets an opportunity to speak. We're here, we only have 8 minutes to go, and I would request that we respond to the issues that have come at hand. To those that have raised points, I do believe that the people you directed these questions to heard you very well. Dr. Kwaro, are you there? Dr. Kwaro, but Honorable Minister, thank you very much for giving us time this evening. Many issues have been raised. How do we avert the standoff and have a better healthcare system conclusively, Honorable, such that we are able to let you continue with the day because you've been here since 6 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mugenyi, and I take the pleasure to thank all those who have made contributions, some positive contributions, others personal attacks, but we never mind. This is a public duty. Many things have been said, and I've been recording, taking note of everything. Mr. Rutaya says politicians should not be trusted. Hello, am I on? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Honorable Minister.
Okay. I was saying Mr. Rutaya says politicians should not be trusted. Then you can trust those whom you trust to rectify these issues. Anyway, whether you have misgivings about politicians or not, eventually these decisions have to be made by politicians. And the doctors, the interns should not be emotional. And when I met the pre-intern, that was my pre. Does not be emotional. State your issues with composure, because we are also doctors, we are human beings, and we shall look at them as they come. So I hold in contempt those who want to attack me personally as if I am the author of this policy. I have just been appointed the Minister of Health. I have found this policy there, and I think I have given this time to respond to the questions being raised. And when I met the pre-interns, I assured them, I feel for them, I have empathy, and I will take it up. And that's why I've been saying I am consulting. Even this evening, this afternoon, I had a meeting with the president of Uganda over these issues. So please, desist from attacking me as if I am the one keeping the money for interns in my pocket. That should be very, very clear. Secondly, the statements I have made, I have been speaking English, and they should not be taken out of context. When I said interns are doctors written in pencil, I explained it that interns are doctors who haven't been issued with a practicing license. That's what I meant. And if you fail internship, you can't be allowed to practice medicine. That's what is meant by being written in pencil, because you are yet to be given a professional license. What's wrong with that one? And that is a fact. Now, many people have commented on what I said in Parliament about interns being away and mortality coming down. I am sure all of you appreciate I am fairly schooled in matters of research, and nobody should take me back to school. The English say text without context is pretext. You needed to understand the context in which I said this statement. First of all, I was speaking to the issue that in many of our hospitals, interns are being left unsupervised. And I said the time when they delayed to report, the Ministry of Health commandeered all the doctors, senior doctors, consultants to be on duty full time, and they were manning our health facilities. And it is true. You see, many people don't want the truth. It is true when the ministry assessed and did institutional assessments, they made that observation that when the senior doctors were on duty full time, institutional mortality rates went down. What does it mean? I was not condemning interns, but I was saying in the practice of medicine, interns should work, but under supervision and guidance of the seniors. That's what internship is. And I can tell you, we are having discussions within the ministry to see that as we deploy interns, how to ensure that the seniors are there to support the interns. For instance, if an intern is on duty alone and he has to do a major abdominal surgery, for instance, do you think he will be as good as a senior surgeon? That was the point I was making. I was not condemning interns per se, but I was saying for interns to effectively go through the internship, the senior doctors should be there. And this data, this information is available. It may be painful when you hear it, but I was saying it in good faith, not to condemn anybody. And you can come to the ministry and we show you the data and the information to that effect. I am trying to explain what the policy is. Now, my friend Dr. Kwaru is saying I should own the policy. I am explaining it away. I don't want to lie. When I say the policy says this, I am trying to explain it so that you understand what was passed. And I have said we feel for the interns, we feel for the doctors, and that's why I have given it attention and time. If probably I was not concerned, I would dodge the doctors, I would create no time, but I am spending a lot of time on this matter so that we can harmonize. The letters, I want to insist, I have not seen these letters. What the Dr. Taya is with what I say. But now, I think UMA has sent a forest of letters in my inbox, which I am now going to study, and I am willing and ready to engage UMA and others. But you should arrange to have us meet. I don't think you expect me to go shopping for stakeholders. You also have some respect that I run an office, and you should write or call and request for an appointment to meet. I meet anybody and everybody who requests that we meet. So I am open on this, and that should be understood. The question of are we threatening the interns? Not really. I have been very clear that when we met some of the interns, the pre-interns, which Dr. Taya, yes, he was there, he attended, we had a discussion. Okay, they are saying they didn't agree, but me, as far as I recall, we agreed that let me pursue this issue and engage the powers that be, but as they also report. Well, if you have chosen not to report, I have also been on record saying if you don't report, it's not a crime. Nobody will arrest you because you have not reported. I still stand by what we agreed with the interns, that the reporting dates remain the same. I still remain with the commitment to consult, and the consultations are going on over this issue so that we can have a meeting of mind. So we have not changed the reporting dates. They remain third to the 14th. And it's not a threat, but these are the letters that you received. Why I was saying a confrontational approach may not necessarily be the best. You take that path if there is resistance from the leaders. If, for instance, I was condemning the interns for raising these issues, if I was saying I cannot meet you, if we were saying no, the policy is the way it is, we cannot look at it. If we were saying that, then you could say, okay, let's push these guys. But I told the interns that there is goodwill from myself as the Minister of Health, from members of Parliament. You have seen from the Vice President. I was saying that sometimes you have to choose which method to use to fight a battle, where the other side is willing to listen. So why choose to fight? Because I did tell the interns when we met that you might undermine the goodwill that some of the leaders have. I still remain committed. But when you start issuing threats, when officials of UMA start going on TV and insulting some of us, questioning whether we have the competence and so forth, that can discourage some of the people who were supportive, who had the goodwill. That has been my advice, that where we who are in the government are willing to engage and we are showing that goodwill, it should not be abused and taken for granted. But on my part, I still remain committed to engaging. But once again, to clarify, I am not the author of the policy as an individual. I am just pursuing this as the Minister of Health. There's somebody who said, would you allow your child to study medicine? Obviously, yes. Yes, there is this discomfort with the welfare of interns, but we have enhanced the pay of medical workers, of health workers. And even the discussions we are having, we are going to pronounce even the betterment of the welfare of health workers. I may not reveal now. So yes, my child, and I support many actually, though many are not by biological children, but I support many young people who are doing medicine and other medical courses in various universities. Somebody who was sympathetic was saying, oh, people want to use me to destroy my legacy. I think again, this is the misunderstanding of the policy. When I took the lead to explain this policy and also lead efforts to harmonize the concerns of the interns and the doctors and the government, now many people are reading bad faith on my part. Please do not discourage me, because the opposite would be I can keep quiet, but that's not good. I am the Minister of Health. So approach this issue with respect, with trust, and all of us would want doctors to live comfortable lives. I have been an activist, like we are saying in the past. I have been an active member of UMA. Before I was appointed a minister, we had drafted a bill called the Uganda Medical Society to legalize UMA and create it by statute. I have been an active medical person in this country. So please, those who are trying to insult, move together to resolve all these issues. So, finally, we are committed as a Ministry of Health to improving the health sector. And we have lined up a number of reforms and interventions which we are going to push with the government so that we can streamline a number of things. For instance, I am bothered by the many doctors who are not employed, and indeed we are engaging government to see how we can absorb the doctors. We have come up with a new staffing structure that expands positions within the government, and we shall be filling them. What Dr. Book also raised, exploring the possibility of training for export, we are also engaging on it, because there are countries outside that lack doctors, lack health workers. We're also going to discuss it and see if we can't absorb all the doctors who are graduating, can we also, through a government-to-government arrangement, deploy some of these doctors outside the country? These are options which we are looking at as a ministry. One of the key priorities we are focusing on is to improve care within our health facilities. And personally, I would want to see doctors live better lives by having a better pay. We've been discussing the possibility of removing taxes from the pay of health workers, and I can tell you the president has agreed. We are going to make an announcement soon that we are not going to tax the pay of health workers. So there are many things which we are doing. So do not read bad faith in the Ministry of Health. We are part of you, the doctors, and we are ready to engage with UMA, with the interns, and all stakeholders, the nurses, the pharmacists, so that we put our heads together, get ideas which we can use to improve the health sector in Uganda. So please, my appeal finally still remains that you interns, do report as deployed, and we finalize the issues of consultations. And I have said that the interns need to do this internship. Yes, the issues of allowances and welfare are there, which should be sorted. But first and foremost, you must also appreciate that you need to do internship in order for you to practice your profession. So those of you saying we shall not report, well, it will be unfortunate, but also on the other hand, you are undermining your own growth in terms of the profession. So let's balance, look at it that way, as we also look at the issue of the welfare. And somebody was asking, are you happy with that policy? I am sure if you've been following my comments in the public, I have been saying, some of these provisions in the policy need to be looked at again. And I have publicly said, when this policy was considered the cabinet, unfortunately, I was absent. I'm not being escapist, but I was absent because I don't remember making a contribution to these issues. Like the issue of graduating after internship, I am personally uncomfortable with it. I even asked the ministry, why did this pass? And somebody was saying, no, many interns have been failing. But when I cross-checked in the last intake, I was told there were only 8 who didn't pass outright. But even the reasons were not necessarily the competence and the academic ability, but was a lot to do with character and so forth. So these we are going to examine them. But you must tone down your emotions, be calm, and give us time to look at all these issues. If I had been the author of the policy as an individual, I would probably have made pronouncements. But this is a policy that was not authored by me, so it requires consultation with the others, and the consultations are going on. I hope I have been able to respond briefly to the number of issues which have been raised. But otherwise, I am happy for this conversation, and I will be ready at any time of any day again to engage in this kind of discussion so that we can hear you out and also be able to respond as much as we can.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. It's been a pleasure having you this evening together with us from all along from 6 p.m. to now 8:40. Thank you for keeping around. Thank you for listening, taking notes really. And I do believe that you've provided answers to the questions that came through. To the doctors, to the public that has been part of this conversation, as we are trying to forge a way forward, also really bridging the gap of communication between the public, but also those that are into the sector together with authorities or technocrats at the Ministry of Health. I do believe that it's been an important or a conversation that has been long overdue. Of course, there are so many things that come into play, and they all can't get done in just one single space. Like the minister clearly pointed out, hopefully we can have him or we can have any other technocrat from the Ministry of Health to have some time together to have a conversation in matters regarding health. We can look at a topical discussion of the day, but for today we were looking at the state of health sector, but also the interns deployment standoff. Trying to find a way, bridge the gap, speak to you, he speaks to them. Yes, to those that have letters that have been addressed to him, kindly take them to his office, like he has mentioned. Dr. Nahabwe, you've sent them to my WhatsApp, have seen them, have also forwarded them directly to the minister. So let's keep the engagement going. Of course, the conversation cannot end here, but the conversation should continue online. For now, Honorable Minister, do you have any parting shots that you want to give to the team?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mugenyi, for this opportunity. My parting shots is that we remain committed to listening to all our colleagues, doctors, interns, and would want, at the end of the day, to resolve these issues. But let us tone down, remove emotions, articulate the concerns properly, and we are here to serve Ugandans. You, the doctors, the interns, are part of the Ugandan community, and your colleagues. So let's work together to see how these issues can be resolved, but above all, do it in a manner that is respectful to each other. I thank you very much.
That's great from you, Honorable Minister. And personally, I am very appreciative of you. I called you today for us to have this kind of conversation. You're allowed to be here, and for all the time you've been here. You've taken notes, you've dedicated time to us. On this panel, we were supposed to have the president of the Uganda Medical Association, but technology played him otherwise. But Dr. Nahabwe, thank you for stepping in. Dr. Tire, Dr. Niesiga, and so many others. Dr. Robert Kalyasula just joining in. Unfortunately, we are coming to a conclusion, but you can spend time and listening to what the recording has really been about. Of course, the conversation is ongoing. Are interns reporting tomorrow or they are not? I cannot answer that. How do we better our healthcare system? That's a conversation that we can always tap into and then find solutions as a whole sector. Thank you very much for everyone that has joined in today. My name is Henry Mugenyi, and we put it at a stop at this moment. See you.